right, everyone, welcome to a Let's Play with me, the Slappy one. We are out here playing some Satisfactory, just getting started with a brand new playthrough, Satisfactory Experimental. So we're going through all of this. It's been a minute since I've actually played this, so we are gonna be playing this right from the get-go, no skip to anything. So we're gonna go ahead and get some leaves gathered up. What is my goal here? Big factory efficiency, make stuff happen, make it look cool. So we're probably gonna do some iterations. We'll do some harvesting, we'll do this, that, or the other. We'll mess around with a little bit of this and a little bit of that as we go through. So I'm gonna start by gathering a whole bunch of leaves and vegetation. I need this for a later point. So now that we have this, I need to find a spot that will become suitable. I need to open up the codex, don't I? And figure out what. There we go. Get the Xeno Zapper installed. So guys, you land on a planet, you got to get project assembly going. So we're going to be rocking and rolling with that, hopefully. At least that's the plan. So I got a nice little thing of quartz here. I'm not going to pick that up for now. But yeah, so that's the plan. We're gonna put some time in. We're gonna put some effort in. We're gonna do some designs. We're gonna do some planning. We're gonna do some maths. We're gonna do some calculations. All that lovely stuff. And as I find resources to make said calculations and planning happen, or as I design them, I'm gonna share them with you guys here on the YouTubes. So before we get into things, first and foremost, thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate y'all. If you like what you see, hit that subscription button. It's literally free to you. Just a button. If you really like what you see, hit that like button, and keep that notification bell on so that way you know when new videos go live. We do a variety of stuff around here. I do a lot of different games. I do a lot of this and a lot of that. I do a lot of streaming on Twitch, so that is where I primarily will be putting forth information, but I also want to play other games, and that's what we're gonna do with everything here. So I'm using my scanner with pressing good old V like Victor. We're locating some of the old irons. Iron is a quintessential part of any base building, and if you start without it, you're doomed to fail. Because iron goes into most everything else. Stop running! Stop resisting! All right, he stopped resisting and succumbed to the way of the Slappy one. All right, guys, so we have a normal iron node here. I believe these are 3 normals, and this is perfect for where I want to set up my base. So what we are going to do next is we found that, and we are gonna hurry up and collect out some iron ore to build the old hub. Now that drop pod that we dropped in earlier and I salvaged, that's going to make our hub. So what we're going to do after I harvest all of these is we're going to pick a spot, because the hub is actually pretty big. I'm not going to lie, the hub is pretty big. So, but I like this nice crevicing area. So I eventually want to make my factory kind of in this area. The beauty about Satisfactory is you can also do vertical building, so you can build super high into the sky. Think very advanced like Minecraft. So what I want to do to start, I've got all 3 of these nodes here. I got some nasty crap back there and some more hilly terrain. So to start, I want my hub. I'll tell you what, we're going to have a just temporary position for the hub. The reason I want to just do a temporary position is because we're going to change things around. Actually, no, I don't want to put it there. No. We'll put the hub. Okay, well, we'll put the hub right there. I like that spot, yeah? All right, now there's not really much to the hub. As you see from the outline, there was a little bit more. There's nothing here. And that is because we have to go through the tiers and do various things. So we're going to do hub upgrade number 1. This gives me an equipment workstation, portable miners, and inventory slots. it is the next thing I have to do. So I'm going to select that as my objective. Now notice in the top right corner, you get the nice little thing. So what I'm going to do is quickly press, I cannot speak this video, my spacebar. And that way I can freehand this. You can hold your spacebar or you can set something weighted on it. But if you just quickly tap space, it will automatically do this for you. So that way we can talk. Now, as I stated earlier, iron is essential for what you want to do. If you do not have iron, you do not have building. So that is why it is imperative. It's the first thing you have to do to make what you need. So I'm going to make I'm going to turn all of those raw iron ores that we picked up from our pure nodes. We're going to get those turned into ingots. Now there eventually will be smelters and assemblers and constructors and all kinds of things later to make them into more advanced bits. For now, we have to do this all by hand. The thing about Satisfactory, if you are a newer player, and we're going to cover all of these little tidbits, is that at some point you're going to have to do some manual crafting. And then you'll get into more advanced crafting as you make more of those certain components and do certain things. So I'm going to make up to... we'll make 41 of these for now. So now that I have plenty of iron rods, and trust me, you're going to be using hundreds of thousands of these later, I'm going to shift-click and pull that over. Notice how it filled it up. And I'm going to click the upgrade hub. Now our hub finally has some structure to it. It's got a little more look, which is super cool. Grab some more leaves. Also, first-time players, if you need, or the reason I gather these, you need it for power later. So when you first start out, grab a bunch of leaves and everything. You're gonna need those items. Miners require no power, so I can make those. So I can go into my craft menu, which is Q, or at least by default. I can make a craft bench, which is this thing right here, if I need to make one on the go, or I can make the equipment workshop, which this needs 6 iron plates and 4 iron rods. So I'm going to use some of those ingots. I'm going to get me 4 iron plates, and I'm going to make it an equipment workshop. I needed 6 and I made 4. There we go. And I'm going to make it just right there. So that way it's pretty much an extension of the hub. I have one right as I need to. Now, next thing we got to do, we need to get more iron. Now we could walk over there and use our handy little chisel, but that's not efficient, and we're all about efficiency. So I'm going to go to the equipment workshop. You can make another Xeno Zapper here with a bunch of materials we can get later. You can get another little zapper if you need to. But we want to make the miner. Now the miner takes 2 plates and 4 rods. So I'm going to go to the craft bench, and I'm going to make 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 for now. That way, we have enough for 2 of these portables on every single one of our iron nodes. Now, there are other things you'll be able to mine later in Satisfactory as well. You'll be able to get copper, limestone, sulfur, quartz, caterium, things like that. So now we have all these miners, and they go in our hand. It's all totally good. So what we're going to do before we do anything else, since I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and select my next tier 0 piece, which is the upgrade number 2. This gives me the smelter, which this is huge for what we want, for what we need. We get an upgrade for copper. We can make power lines, cables, wire, and copper ingots. So we're going to start getting into copper and into electricity and into power. We need those. Ooh, berries. I will explain the berries later, but if you find them, get them. All right, so we're going to pull the zapper out. We're going to put a miner here, and I'm just going to left click. I'm going to put another one in and throw him down as well. Actually, 3, 4, and we'll leave 2 for later. So we'll put 4 miners on this. I said I was going to do 6, but I'm realizing 6 is a bit overkill, and that's totally okay. You know what? With Satisfactory, you play how you want to play. That is the beauty of this game. It is a true to form sandbox. There is no right, there is no wrong on design. for you newer Satisfactory players, and I'm trying to cater a lot of information to you, this is a very, very important thing to realize, is you never have to play the same style. You never have to play my style or someone else's style. Adapt your own, try new things, make it fun. Just enjoy. All right, so we're gonna go to hub upgrade 2. We're gonna go ahead and select this. We need 20 rods and 10 plates. Well, I definitely don't have enough for 20 rods, and I definitely don't have enough for 10 plates. So I'm gonna go ahead and just convert what iron I have left into rods. And that's why I have the 4 miners up there, is they're going to do all of that work for me to make me a bunch of iron ingots or iron ore very quickly. And that way, I don't have to worry about sitting here chiseling away at this guy where I'm collecting, what, 2 ore every hit? This would take forever. And that's, who wants to sit here chiseling iron forever? I know I don't. So instead, what we're gonna do is we're gonna let our miners do all that for us. So I'm gonna grab all, grab all, grab all. Now I still have to go manually smelt everything, but instantly I have 269 nice iron ore. So let's go get it smelted up. And yes, I'm using shift to sprint, and I'm also jumping around. You'll see me as I play Satisfactory, and as we go through this, I do a lot of jumping. It's just how I've kind of gotten used to playing this game. Again, you don't have to. So we're going to do this. Now, I'm going to go ahead and speed this up because this is going to take a minute. So we're going to time lapse through all of these ingots. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and cut it short because I am an impatient individual in this game. So we're going to craft up our iron rods, and I'm going to save that iron ore for later. Now, as you can imagine, the miners over there have been going at it for a little bit, so they're probably going to have a lot of iron ore. Well, Slappy, what are you going to do with all that iron ore? There's so much to do. That is a great question. And I will show you guys what I'm going to do with that here shortly. Because the amount of iron that we have is not near the amount we need for any one single thing. So I did forget to show you guys this, but you can either drag and drop items over from relevant or even from here, or you can just shift click to instant fill it, and ta-da! We have plating all over our nice little hub. Now this looks unrefined, unfinished, and that is okay. It's not done.
Hub feature, biomass burner.
We have a biomass burner. But wait, what does a biomass burner do? It is power. It is an electrical generator. All of that natural stuff that we picked up earlier, guess what? We need that. But this is starting to look a little snazzy. It's looking a little more home. Connect buildings biomass burner for power. I get that. We now have access to copper and to cabling, and that's totally fine. We're going to select the next hub upgrade, which guess what? It needs more rods. It needs more plates. We made plenty of them, and we are prepared. But wait, what is this? This is copper wire. We need to find copper. If you hold V, our scanner now has 2 options. Let's go find us some copper, shall we? Hit the ping, and it is this way. It's about northeast, 200 meters. That is no big deal. Ooh, pale berries. Or pale nuts, whatever they are. Or no, barrel nuts, excuse me. Pale berries are the better ones. Barrel nuts are great. If you find pale berries, they look like raspberries. They're even better. So the copper is going to be up here. We're going to run up this way. We get some height, even though I don't need it. Just so I can look on. Oh, we have a. Oh, it's right next to limestone, but we have a flame spitter. This is going to be a fun little fight. Because he attacks with flame and he does damage. But down he goes because I'm a little bit better with that. Now, those barrel nuts I found earlier, there's a reason you want them. Look at the HP. It's going up. Not only goes up about a half a block every nut or so, but it's good to have. Now, Instant question, Slappy, why do you have to change out every individual one? Can't you carry more? Eventually, yes. We will cover that in later videos, later sessions. So just like before, I'm going to clear this out. And since I know there's limestone here, I do need this as well. I'm going to go ahead and clear this limestone off because this is the next thing we're actually about to get into. So we're going to be spending a lot of time in this particular spot. And it's great that these two are here. This means I don't have to go for one place for copper and then one place for limestone. And guess what? These are pure nodes, which means that when we put stuff on here, it's going to, pure limestone, which is exactly what I need, and then normal copper. Now, let's get our miners on our copper. I'm gonna let them do their work here for a minute. I've got about 26 copper ore, and that is totally okay. I'm just gonna go ahead and sort this down just to organize it. So I've got 26 copper ore, and that's okay. I'm gonna let these guys go for a minute because I want to look along the beautiful landscape that we have and somewhat envision what I want to do. Now, the thing is, there are rules to the plan. The plan is you don't need to make super long-term plans early, in my opinion. You only need to make short-term plans for what you need in that moment. And then when you go to the next stage of whatever production you're doing, that is when you decide to change your plan on how you attack it. What I mean is when you get go from Mark 1 to Mark 2 miners, when you add more production, so you add 1 miner, 2 miner, to 4 miners, to all kinds of smelters. Eventually the base gets bigger and bigger and bigger the more resources you use, and as time goes along. So you always need to evaluate, tweak your plan, and then go with it. One thing that I think I'm definitely going to do, thinking long term, which I know is a little bit hypocritical to what I just said, but I want to do our individual area mining. Now, what do I mean by that in my terminology? That is not a game term, that is a Slappy term. And what I mean by area mining or area building is I think I want to devote certain buildings to make certain productions and then pipe them together to a central facility for more complex manufacturing. So essentially we'll have this turn into like our basic iron production for everything: plates, rods, screws, pipe them into the next facility, which would be like concrete or plates or something like that. I think that's what we'll do. And then we'll go from there. I don't know. We'll mess around with some designs. Again, we'll do some math. We'll do some calculations. You guys will get to see my thought process through all of that, and we'll go from there. Now, we need to make copper wire spools. In order to get that, we need ingots. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to make up some ingots just like we did with our iron. Now, the good, easy news is it's 1-to-1, pretty much. And copper generates a lot of resources very quickly. Many times I have played Worlds and I have made more copper wire than I will ever need or can think of, as well as cabling and even copper sheets that are yet to come per water stuff. So very easily copper production lasts and then overproduces compared to its need. And that is totally okay for that to happen. It's having more and needing it than needing it and not have it. Now for we'll go to storage. Those carapaces, the leaves, and our bio stuff, we're gonna just throw those in there because we just don't need them for now. Next up, we're gonna go ahead and make all of our cabling, because I am OCD. I saw that it was not gonna be 100, so I decided to make it 100. I believe for copper wire. We're just gonna go ahead and smelt down all of our ingots, and that is perfectly fine. You can play to just make exactly what you need. You can plan overages. I personally like to always plan to just have overages and then go from there. I'm also very particular on designing and numbers, so I try to make it exact. It's just the way my brain thinks. All right, hub 3 is in. Now, if you notice, our hub is looking a little more colorful. Scanner feature limestone. Now that we have that, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and make 1 and 2 more miners, and we're gonna get them out. Now, what else do we have? I can make constructors. Okay. I can make smelters. This is perfect. So I need... Well, I'll tell you what. We'll do this first. We're going to select this next mine, a hub upgrade. This gives us belts, poles, and more inventory. These two, get familiar with them because you're going to be using tons of those. And it's really, really good. Now, I need concrete, which means I need a limestone. So we're going to go get that started here in just a moment. I need cabling, which comes from copper wires. We have plenty of those. I can make that right now. And then we need plating. So what I'm going to do first is we're going to go run mounts all the way over here. We're gonna get our limestone started. And while we are over here, we're going to go ahead and grab our copper and get that started. But I don't have anything to automate these or to get these started yet, and that is okay. Now, same as with the hub, you can shift click and just get these guys started. Oh, hey, as you guys find out that my headset is charging its battery. I have a wireless headset. So it's currently plugged in because it was dead earlier. And, you know, Corsair just likes to give me the ASMR. All right, so we're going to run back. Now it's getting on nighttime. I love the coloring. We're going to grab some more of the leafy goodness because eventually we're going to need power. So the more of this that we can get a hold of early, the more power we can have to work with and not have to worry about it later. All right, so we're going to stop here. I'm going to sort this down. Actually, wait. I'm going to throw that on first. Then I'm going to go ahead and throw all of my bio stuff in here. I'm going to keep the barrel nuts because I need HP from time to time from fights. As I hit one of the automatic cues. Now, we're going to go ahead and make our cabling. Now, you make that right out of copper wire. It just doles straight in. So that's why I made 100 because I knew I could make a ton of cables with it. I now have 30, and that is okay. We're going to go ahead and make up some more iron plates, and I'm just going to go ahead and get those started. And that way, by the time I have all of this done and I throw them in the hub, I run over there, I grab the limestone that I need, and I'll have more than enough to go ahead and do this hub upgrade and just get it done. With some of these upgrades, it's better to try to speed run through them and get them out of the way as quickly as you can. And that way you're on to the next tier, and that way you can spend a little more time getting your resources in place. And for you newer Satisfactory players, help just kind of understanding how things are crafted and how it goes into the grand scheme of it all. Now, I don't have nearly enough plates yet, so I'm going to make more ingots as we go through this. The music's going to change to something a little more upbeat. That is super cool. But you guys get the gist. You upgrade the hub, you go through a few more things. Now, eventually the hub is going to be upgraded enough. The hub will not upgrade any further. And you will be able to get other things. Now, as you do all of these tier upgrades, you get more items that you can make, items that you can do. So that is how you progress into higher tier versions of this game. We are still in the extreme early stages, and that is totally okay because... Well, I mean, nothing wrong with, you know, day one still being very, very green. Now, we've got a ton of stuff. We're going to go ahead and start getting this down. The one thing I don't like about the plates is it's 3-2, so it's weird math, especially when you get the bigger machines. And you guys will see what I mean later with that. So it does make that a bit weird on the math, but that's okay. But we'll go ahead, throw the cabling and the plates, and now we are ready to accept our limestone. We're going to run back over there. I know I saw a barrel nut right over there, and that's okay. Now, if you notice on the left, I get some hints. Power poles can be used to connect multiple buildings to the power grid. I will explain power in a later video. We do not need the power stuff right now because we have all that we need with our portable miners Now I have 200 limestone, which means I'm gonna make probably somewhere around the neighborhood of about 60 to 70 concrete. The ratio for that is 3 limestone to 1 concrete, and that is it's a bit down, but you know, there's much more advanced planning and calculation with that later. We're still going to have tons of limestone to work with because that is a pure node, which means it's going to generate a lot. And again, I will give more explanations on that later. Oh, we're going to make about 86 concrete. That's perfect. We only need 10 right now, folks. Oh, that's right. I forgot I had more earlier that I harvested. Ha! I probably could have made this by hand already. If I could have made it by hand and you guys saw that in the comments, just, you know, yell at me, and I'm totally okay with that. All right, hub upgrade 4 is done. We now have bedding. We have some interior looking items.
You have unlocked building
We've unlocked conveyor belts. We now have a new objective. Hub upgrade 5. Now, as you guys can tell, I'm starting to get a little more speed running with this. And the reason I'm doing that is really because, well, you should start seeing some of the trends. So what do I want to do next? I want to start making some smelters. So I'm going to put a smelter right there, and I want to make this iron because, well, I mean, we need a ton of iron production to go. I want to put it up there on the ridge because, well, we need it. So I'll hold control to line it up, and I'm going to get a second one going to do the same. Oh, select recipe iron to do the same exact thing. Now, these can also make copper, and that's totally okay. I don't need, well, I don't really need a copper one for now. Do I have enough? No, I don't. But I have enough in my pocket that I can go ahead and make more of those rods and wires. Make more of those, and I'll tell you what, we'll go ahead and start making more copper ingots real quick. Notice I have plenty of copper ore from our harvest earlier. It always is going to overproduce what you need, and that is totally okay for this type of application. Now what we're going to go ahead and do is I'm going to build another smelter towards the copper that's going to be our copper maker, and just that way I can start automating some of this ingot smelting. Notice it's taking a while to get there, and that's totally fine. It's, again, the extreme early game. Don't expect to have like full automation within the first 20 to 30 minutes of gameplay. Remember, we've only been playing this for 28 minutes as of right now in this particular world. So first 30 minutes to an hour, you're setting up your initial base, and then you're getting your first schematics and layouts going. Gonna happen. Totally normal. Don't be discouraged. If anything, be encouraged if you get to this point and you're already like, what am I doing next? All right. So we'll make a smelter over here. I'll tell you what, I'll put that right there. Now, the next thing I want to do is I need to get some more rods because we're going to start adding some power poles. The first one is actually going to go right there. Actually, no, it's not. I'm thinking I'm on the other side of the base. So I'm going to go ahead and dissolve that or break it down. I get the resources back, so I'm not too terribly worried. Now, the first power pole is always going to go right there for me because that way I can hook that up. Now, anything that's got power, you can hook into it, but I need to make more rods. Now, notice I flipped through that pretty quick just so I could talk to you guys about it. So I'm going to go ahead and make 1, 2, 3. I'm going to make about 10 more ingots, 10 more rods just so I can get what I need to down and ready to go power-wise. Now, each pole can handle 4 different connections. So what I typically will do is I'll have one here for that biomass burner. We're going to get another in a later hub upgrade. So there's going to be 2 of those cranking. So I'll have 2 here. And then I will typically, or what I'll do, I actually make the rods. I didn't do that. And what I would recommend that you do for power in the early game, before I explain the power grid, is set another pole off to the side and immediately connect those 2. Do not do anything with this yet. I will explain this in a later video. But that way it essentially what it's going to be is when you start making power generators, this is going to be your feed into here coupled with these 2 to project power to the rest of your base. So this pole right here becomes very critical for that in terms of being the final combiner. And then this pole is where you add all of your power generators. Now, next thing I'm going to do is put one power pole up here in front of this, switch over to my lines, connect one power to that, and then that to the other. And then connection 3 is going to go right there. Now, in order for this to start smelting up my iron, I need power. Now, all that biomass that we did as the last thing we do in this video, we're going to grab... Is it all of that? I think. But I do not have the recipe for actual biomass yet. And that's okay. We're going to grab all these leaves. And we're going to run over here. And I am going to plop that in there. I'm going to build one more power pole over here. I'm going to connect that to this guy and then into that guy. That way I have power extending to this smelter, who's going to make copper ingots. And I'm going to feed it in. And guess what? It is now constructing all copper ingots for me. And it's doing it a little bit quicker than making it by hand as well. Almost sounds like automating is a good way to do it when you're forging ingots that need to get forged into other things. Now, true to form, I'm gonna go ahead and grab 2 more miners worth of iron ore, and we're gonna go ahead and fill these 2 smelters. Now, we've started our first early pieces of automation. This is going to generate ingots for me. I still have to smelt the ingots into items for now, but I will explain that in the next video as we run along. So day 1, we have... or video 1, we have our smelters. We have explanations behind everything. I'm going to cover the power grid. Actually, maybe next video, maybe not. I don't know yet. We have copper ingots being produced. I'm going to go ahead and grab them. We have a lot of good and beautiful things happening. So guys, thank you all so much for being here. If you're a newer Satisfactory player, ask questions down below. If you like what you see, again, like button, subscribe. Really helps the channel out. We greatly appreciate you. Other than that, folks, that's going to be all the time that we have for this video. And I will see you guys later on in the frontier, folks.